Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here to share the view of IoT. This is a kind of frequent discussion topic. I believe you heard this discussion many, many times, right? So you probably puzzling why I'm sitting here in the morning and keep listening it again. And how does it relate it to me? Anna has said a very good thing about the capability of the sensors, right? And I would like to address some of these in the next 10 minutes is, what is our experience so far in helping our customer to implementing the IoT related projects, right? And what is the goal do and what is actually we see the challenges and try to avoid. So this is try to do it in the 10 minutes. So before we do that, I want to just capitalize a bit of the thinking of the whole IoT platform. If you look at that, the things, we talk about the things, it's a sensor, and then how we get ourselves connected to all these. And some of these probably in a very, we call it a heterogeneous environment. It doesn't have to be the same standard. And then how these data come back to you, and what are the data? How do you make sense to you? Might be 90% of the data doesn't really make sense to you. How can you use of it? And then at the end of the day, what's the way, how you analyze it? How do you make it to your business? I think the most fundamental thing is to your business, not trying to do something that everybody is doing at this stage. Now, it's no surprise in that. Just a few years back, Anna was saying IoT was being developed long time ago. But if you look back just literally 5 years ago, these are all the common use IoT platform, right? And refrigerator, automobiles, name it. But today, it's interesting. It's just everywhere. From consumer to enterprise or crossing over, wearable computing, just like I'm doing right now here. And all these are interrelated. You can say this is a personal use, but no, it could become a enterprise or commercial usages. So it's the kind of the mixed it. And these numbers, I put it here, not just trying to show you how knowledgeable that we are or I am, definitely not. I'm just putting this number and saying that how confused we are. Right? And sometimes people say billions, millions, and try to say, if you don't do it, you'll be too late. This is a big market, join the team. I mean, I don't think we need to do that anymore, right? It's here, it's implemented it. I think the only thing we talk to ourselves is, how do we not getting ourselves confused? How do we not getting ourselves too hung up with what other people are doing, am I too late? How do we get ourselves to take advantage of this technology and making sense really to your business, not because of just doing it for the sake of the trend? The view from us, based on all these years of implementation, we've tried to make a little bit different on the Internet of Things to add one more word in front of the thing is your things, right? Maybe we say Internet of your things. Why do we want to say that? Remember I said earlier, I said, don't do this because of other people do it. Do it because of your business. So it means your things is your business, right? When you want to connect, when you want to say how smart I can do, imagine what sort of industry you're in. If you're in the retail industry, as simply as have you connected to your POS? Is your POS smart enough, right? If you're the healthcare industry, you say, okay, am I connected to the patient? Am I connected to the ward? And I'm connecting to the pharmaceutical system. Am I smart enough to connect to them, right? If you are in a very traditional business like utility, right? Am I connected to my meter? Am my meter smart enough to understand what the consumption behavior of the individual household or person, right? So this is something you don't want to create it, reinvented it. This is something you already have, right? But at this stage, it might be not that smart. You need to have those data using manual or some kind of jargon upload to your back-end system, and you try to do, but it's not automate enough. It's not smart enough, right? So these are the things that I would try to encouraging people to don't go too big first. Go to the simplicity. Connect it to whatever you have. Make use of the current investment before you're making things too big for yourself to swallow. And there are a few things that we've seen a lot of our customer, when they implement this type of environment, they have to take notices of. the efficiency of getting those sensors, we call it, come around with you. It could be talking about not just in one location. It could be talking about multiple locations, different places in the world, right? So how can you connect them? It could come from different brands. If I say earlier, in the retail environment, POS might come from one particular supplier, right? But the shop floor energy consumption of those areas might be different, come from different suppliers. So how you can get this connected? And then at the same time, how can you make those information back into your own back end? Now, this is important. Don't just for the sake of collecting data. Otherwise, you get swamped, right? You get the data in, you get smart enough to know what data that are useful to you and connect to whatever back-end system that you are using. Might be your ERP, might be your financial service system, might be your whatever system. I'm sure you have a lot of back-end system. Even SMB today, they leverage a lot of computing environment to do the business, even as simple as a customer database, right? How can you connect it and use that data and such that giving you some advice back? And the final piece, the analytic. We touched base a little bit earlier on the analytics, and this is the part I encouraging you to go back to think deeper on that. Because when you get the data, when you get the information, yes, it does tell you what exactly happened deeper in your organization. A little bit more intelligence to tell you, instead in the old days, you might be, like, people give you a bunch of report that you never read, you put in a desk, and some days later you get dusty. And today we say, okay, we are environmental, we don't print report anymore. Let's send a file to me, and it's always sitting in the inbox, you never open it. And then even you try to open it, it's so complicated, right? And you say, forget about it, right? I'll have other important things to deal with. So these type of things, you need to say, the more information to push in your environment, you get even worse. Now, if we look at some data over the last few years, the world, 90% of the data in the world is actually accumulated over just for the last 2 years, right? So you can make a simple mathematical induction what happened to the next 5 or 10 years. So you will bombarded with a lot of data. If you don't managing well, it's going to be a trouble to you in your organization. So how you can make use of it, and at the end of the day, the big data is not talk about how much data you're saving. The big data is how much data you can visualize and look at it. And most important of all, is to tell you something that you don't need to ask. That's we call the machine learning or capability. Okay, so these are things maybe we can share later on in our panel discussion, but do let your data information advise you back instead of passively. So I have to touch on that because this is how make IoT work, right? Because you have to leverage the capability of the recent technologies. It's the cloud technology, if you heard about it thousands of times. Because cloud allowing you to connect things easier. You don't want to buy all sort of infrastructure, heavy hardware, put in your own data center, and you pretend that you want to do it. Because this investment will be really hard to pay back. But cloud allowing you to start quickly, to prove it right or prove it wrong quickly. And your investment will not be too high. Because imagine I said earlier that you have a lot of information. Some of the things you don't need, some of the things you might need. So in the capability of cloud, it allowing you to set aside what the usage and disperse those things that you don't need to do that. So cloud provide you the capability, the automation. And the dashboard environment is where, I said earlier, you don't want to get all these clumsy report anymore. You want to have something that every one of you understand, visualize, 3D chart, diagram, right? These are the things that whenever you go, like sitting in the seminar today or traveling tomorrow, you can do this and visualize it. So the cloud allowing you to that sort of capability. You don't need to just stick to your corporate wall. So since I only have 2-3 minutes left, so the last thing I want to say, even we get to the cloud, right? But there is one thing that you really need to concern and challenge your team when they talk about that, is security. Don't just go to any of the cloud, right? Because you have to find a trustworthy cloud that provide you the security, encryption, whatever you like to name it in a technical term. Otherwise, the data you put on the cloud will be exposed in a lot of assets that you don't really want them to do that, right? So I kind of summarized it in the last 8-9 minutes about what exactly people are facing in handling the Internet of Things initiative, right? So few things that I want to, if you can carry away, taking back today is, don't just imagine to do big and don't just afraid of it. In fact, your existing environment, no matter you're a bigger enterprise or SME, you have the environment in front of you or already around you. All you need to do is to connect it and connect back into your back end and start to do things a little bit, visualize and intelligence and do this type of things step by step. And these will give you a good thing is that look at the business model and information that you never done before. And the best thing I said earlier is advise you back and give you idea instead of you ask. Then you get the benefit out of those instead of you spending money, things that just don't work, right? So to end it here, I had a 1-minute video to kind of sparkling a little bit, hopefully with your thinking and maybe related to what you already have and see from your current environment compared to the people in the video, how does it goes? And then maybe you can take it back and say, maybe these are the area I'm interested to get it done. And it's not that difficult. Let's show the video. Right. Thank you for the time today, and looking forward to the sharing later on. Thank you.